Hello, BookTube. I have a mail haul for you, believe it or not, despite the fact that there's 8 inches of black, sucking, freezing cold slush outside everywhere. I still got mail. I got 3 packages. One of these big white envelopes and 2 boxes. So we'll do the white envelope first here and see what we have. See, this is from a publisher, I know. The boxes might not be. 2 of them might not be. So we'll do this one first, see what we have. It'll be a finished copy of something. Oh, fantastic. Okay. All right, great. This is something we've seen already on this channel. This is the finished copy of Blizzard Party by Jack Livings. There we go. We saw this already, and the finished copy, the pub sheet for it comes with a bunch of blurbs, including starred reviews from Kirkus Reviews and Publishers Weekly. That's fantastic. And a list of virtual events. Pub sheets used to have a list on the back, usually, of events where the author was going to be. And that can't happen anymore. But this one, for the first time that I've seen, this has a list of virtual events. There's a launch party at Community Bookstore on March the 1st at 7 p.m., McNally Jackson. The Community Bookstore. I guess you'd have to... There's no URL. I guess you'd just have to go and find out what that is. But anyway, this the pub sheet sacrifices synopsis for all of these for all of this praise. This thing comes out at the end of February, so 3 weeks. But we've already seen it on this channel, but let's read about it again, just for those of you who might not have caught it the first time, because this deals with the Great Blizzard, the Blizzard of '78. We've had, like, for instance, the Northeast has had snowier winters, but everybody who was alive remembers the Blizzard of '78 because it was a signature thing. On February 6, 1978, a catastrophic nor'easter struck the city of New York. On that night, in a penthouse on the Upper West Side's stately Apellis apartment building, a crowd gathered for the Wild Party. And on that night, Mr. Albert Haynes Caldwell, a partner emeritus at Swank, Brady, and Plesher, Harvard class of 26, father of 3, widower, atheist, and fiscal conservative, hatched a plan to fake a medical emergency and toss himself into the Hudson River, where he would drown. In the eye of this storm, Hazel Saltwater, age 6. The strange events of that night irrevocably altered many lives, but none more than hers. The Blizzard Party is Hazel's reconstruction of the facts, an exploration of love, language, conspiracy, auditory time travel, and life after death. Cinematic, with a vast cast of characters and historical scope that spans World War II Poland, the lives of the rich and powerful Manhattanites in the late 1970s, and the enduring effects of 9/11. Jack Living's Blizzard Party is an epic novel in the form of a final farewell. And I have only read a bit of this. I have the advanced copy up on the shelf. I've only read a bit of it. The bit I read definitely told me to read more. I just haven't read the whole thing. So this is performing the function that finished copies always used to perform for me in the good old days of 10 books a day in the mail, which is a little kick in the behind to get me to make sure I know to read that book. I have recently rearranged all of my review copies, so there's a stack for February, and the stack for February has all of the dates clear as could be. I'm still burning off a little bit of January, but the February books, like, for instance, today is February 2nd, Tuesday, February 2nd, and there's a huge release date for books, just huge. So I have a huge amount of stuff to write about, and this I will definitely be reviewing. I just haven't got to it yet. So that is our first book. Then we have 2 boxes, and one is very small, the size of a mass market paperback, and that means it probably is a mass market paperback, and that probably means one of you is misbehaving and has broken rule number 1, which is don't send me a book. And we don't want rule number 1 to keep getting broken, do we? Because I have a huge number of books, and I don't need more. I especially don't need people going out in the middle of a pandemic to get me a book. Somebody went out in the middle of a pandemic to mail this book. Whatever it is, it's a mass market paperback. What are the chances that I will want it? You're kidding me. I don't believe this. So what I suspected, what I said out loud in an earlier video, that some of you are just paying close attention to every word I say in order to know what to get me. That is true. Some of you are paying attention to even dropped off comments. That has got to be true. I am so grateful. I am so happy to have this. That this is another bullseye. Okay, this is the old Signet mass market paperback of Dr. Zhivago. Look at that. I just love this edition. And I mentioned offhand the other day when I got a hardcover of Dr. Zhivago, I mentioned that this is the form that I really want. And that I will sooner or later see it at the Brattle Bookshop here in Boston. But one of you could not wait and sent this to me. I wonder if this thing lets me know who that was. No. All right. Well, whoever it was, I truly, truly appreciate it. I've been hankering, even though I have an ebook of this. I also have the hardcover that I hauled earlier in January. Even so, I've had a hankering to reread this because it was Kelly at Books I'm Not Reading recently savaged it on her channel in her usual stream of expletives. she recently read this thing with Courtney Farrader and didn't like it at all. Basically, at all. I mean, in her video, she mentions a couple of times that there are some nicely written passages, but most of it she didn't like at all. And that had me just squirming with outrage the whole time I was watching. Ordinarily, I save the squirming with outrage the whole time I'm watching for her husband's videos. But in this case, I was saying, no, how could, no. And that, thanks to the wonder of BookTube, I was thinking, okay, well, take a step back. Take a step back. These are engaged, enthusiastic readers that you're watching every day in their hundreds. Here's one who never read Dr. Zhivago before, didn't know anything about it, had never seen the movie even beforehand, I believe, and read the book and just didn't like it. Just found a whole bunch of things wrong with it. It wasn't just, Kelly wasn't just saying, this didn't sit well with me. She was saying this, basically she was saying this wasn't well done. This part wasn't well done. That part wasn't well done. And in addition to the squirms of outrage, that also made me think, well, maybe you need to reread this. So now I have an e-copy and I have a hardcover, but now I have the mass market paperback that I have always wanted. I've had this a couple of times and never know why I got rid of it. The only other thing I don't have, and I don't want anybody getting it for me because it's ridiculous that I would have 4 copies of this book. Reader's Digest used to do hardcover editions, illustrated hardcover editions of all kinds of things. Canonical classics, but also far later things like this. And they did a beautiful volume for Dr. Zhivago. The old Reader's Digest hardcover edition of Dr. Zhivago is beautiful. Someday I will spot that at the Brattle. You are not to get that for me. I now have as many copies of Zhivago as I like. So, fantastic. Wow, incredible. How nice. Then this next one the next box is big, but fairly light. So it could be that it's something from a publisher. And not from one of you. It seems to me that it's not from a civilian. Let's see what we have here. We have a nice big box. I will save the nice big box. And we also have this coiled up wrapping material. There's a whole bunch of it. And I saved that as well because if you uncoil it, if you flatten it out, what it is just a huge roll of brown paper, lightweight onion skin brown paper, with those dotted perforations between each relatively 10-foot or 10-inch section. So if you flatten it all out and then detach those perforations, you have a stack of pages, a stack of scrap paper that's easily reusable. Oh, if your schnauzer doesn't eat it. Frida, no, leave that alone. No, baby, leave it alone. Here, you can have the box, little girl. I also saved the box because I was in the habit of sending things out, of sending out mail again. That habit is temporarily stalled because there's the aforementioned 6 inches of black, shoe-sucking, freezing cold slush everywhere. Standing water, just everywhere. That's going to freeze solid tonight into just sheets of ice and then remelt tomorrow for more freezing cold water. So I'm not going to the post office anytime soon. Oh, okay. All right, great. Fantastic. So we've got some paperwork here. This is another finished copy. So we have 2 finished copies in a mass market from 50 years ago. This is The Postscript Murders by Ellie Griffiths. who's an author I like. I largely like her, and that I don't like this requisitely hideous American cover, but I like this author. So let's find out what this is. This is a hardcover, so it's got to be soon. Yeah, March the 2nd. This comes out on March the 2nd. The death of a 90-year-old woman with a heart condition should not be suspicious. Detective Sergeant Harbinder Kaur certainly sees nothing out of the ordinary when Peggy's caretaker, Natalka, begins to recount Peggy Smith's passing. But Natalka has a reason to be at the police station. While clearing out Peggy's flat, she noticed an unusual number of crime novels, all dedicated to Peggy. I'm on board already. That's why I like this author, because this is good stuff. I can easily picture this author sitting on a sun porch or walking around the block with the dogs to come up with the plot hooks here, because they work. They take some consideration. And each psychological thriller included a mysterious postscript, P.S. for P.S. Peggy Smith. So P.S. for P.S. When a gunman breaks into the flat to steal a book and its author is found dead shortly thereafter, Detective Carr begins to think that perhaps there's no such thing as an unsuspicious death after all. And of course, that is the governing ethos of murder mysteries and police procedurals just in general, is that there's no such thing as an unsuspicious death. And then things escalate. From an Aberdeen literary festival to the streets of Edinburgh, writers are being targeted. No great loss. D.S. Carr embarks on a road trip across Europe and reckons with how exactly authors can think up such realistic crimes. Okay, well, I like this author already, so I'm on board. So, fantastic. A finished copy of the Postscript Murders. I never got an advance copy for it, but that's all right. So that's our mail for today. We've got 2 finished copies. Ellie Griffith's new book, The Postscript Murders, and The Blizzard Party by Jack Livings. Fairly ambitious novel that I mean to get to. I will get to both of these. In fact, I'll do both of them this week. And then another thing that I will probably do this week, and that is Dr. Zhivago. Why not? Why not do it? I have this great old paperback. Why not? This is the same translation as my hardcover, right? The English translation. Yeah, Max Hayward and Manya Harari. Yeah, this is the same translation as the one that there is a note. Oh, there is a note. No, it's not a note to me. It's a note that someone put in their old edition, where they were looking up adjectives that they found in this book. Well, okay. All right, so I will probably reinforce this and read this week as well. So that's great. That is a book haul, a mail haul, that is actually a TBR. I will just get straight to all of these. So that's fantastic. All right, so that is your mail haul for today, with great thanks to whoever sent that mass market paperback, Dr. Zhivago. That is someone who is listening with acute attention. But let's not repeat it. Okay, we're at the beginning of a new week, so no breaking rule number 1. All right, so I'm going to wrap this up, but I'll be back. Thank you, BookTube.